Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 108 of the Rise Up and Share Your Soul's Medicine podcast. My name is Lisa Espinosa, and I'm a spiritual career coach. And I focus on helping the helpers, all of you who are called to help make the world a better place, right? To help bring healing. Most of the time, that means that my clients are wellness professionals, other coaches, therapists, spiritual teachers, social workers, teachers, and so on, but not necessarily. Whatever your specific career, or even if you're retired or in between careers, if you have a longing, and you've probably had that longing for your whole life of being someone who is helping others and want to know how to do that. Well, first of all, let me clarify. You're already doing that, right? I know that already. But your soul is always guiding you to help more, whether that means helping more people, helping more efficiently, adding more value, right? Creating more transformation for others, whatever it is. The journey is how to do that without getting overwhelmed and depleted. And that's what I teach my clients to do. And I teach them to do that by connecting with their soul, by being led from that place within. So every episode is a teaching. It includes a meditation and energy healing to help you do that, to help you remember that you're not here to help others relying on solely your human strength. In fact, that is like the least thing. The most important thing is to remember, wait, I am a soul having a human experience, and my soul has got me. Right? And I can rely on the infinite capacity of my soul to help me share my gifts. So today specifically, we're going to talk about help for the helpers. That's what this is about. And specifically, and obviously this whole podcast is about that. And I've talked about different things, different emotional tools, different mindset tools, different practices and processes to help you do that, to help you, to teach you how to connect with your soul more consistently every day throughout the day so you can be led from that place. Today, I'm going to talk specifically about the help that we get from our divine allies, from our spirit guides. People have different names. Sorry, my throat. People have different names for these spiritual beings that no longer have a physical body, but are in the spirit realm, ready to help us, to mentor us, to offer their higher perspective, offer their divine healing so that you can fulfill your mission. And one of my favorite groups of spiritual allies to connect with are what people refer to as the Ascended Masters. So today, welcome, Sunshine and Beauty. Today I want to talk about that. It's not going to be like a whole teaching on Ascended Masters, but I want to just really share some very specific, powerful things to remember about these masters and how you can utilize them, and remembering that it is always your free will choice, right? You can say no. So these ascended masters specifically come from different spiritual traditions, right? We have, like, from the Buddhist tradition, Kuan Yin, Green Tara, Buddha, right? We have from more of the Christian cosmology, ascended masters like Jesus, Mother Mary. From Hinduism, there's Kali Ma and Krishna. There's so many spiritual beings. Specifically, the Ascended Masters, the reason I'm so drawn to working with them is those masters that on their evolutionary journey chose to experience a human life. And many of them experience many human lives, but we're aware of probably one. Right? And the reason this is so important is because their soul chose to incarnate in the earth plane to experience the challenges of being human. What are the challenges of being human, of living in this world? Right? It's a world that, yes, there are so many beautiful things, absolutely. And there's also a lot of polarity. There's a lot of challenges. There's a lot of ugliness as well. Right? There's pain, there's wars, there's all the things. And so when a soul chooses to incarnate, to experience a human life, they're signing up to experience all of those different polarities. And these ascended masters, because they had such a longing to not only merge with the divine, right? Like not only like go back home to spirit, goddess, God creator, whatever you use, whatever word you use, they had a longing to help, right? To learn all the lessons of being human, to understand firsthand what it feels like to have an ego structure, to have all of these emotions, to experience grief, to experience loss, to experience worry, to experience fear, to have all of those emotions, all of those feelings, experience some really challenging things, and still rise up above them, not by bypassing them, not by pretending everything was okay or burying their head in the sand, but looking at it clearly and then learning how to rely on their divinity, rely on their soul, how to remember every day through every challenge, through every beautiful experience, to remember, wait, I am a soul having a human experience, not a human that has a little soul somewhere, right? And so through those choices, they created, one of my teachers calls their legacy of love. And then eventually they ascended, right? They don't have a human body anymore, but they're available to support us. And so for me, this support with the Ascended Masters is so powerful because I know that they understand how challenging it can be to experience being a human. They understand that, and so they can help us. And specifically today, I will talk about one of the Ascended Masters that I work with very closely. And if you've followed me at any point, this is true, is and it's Mother Mary, but more than Mother Mary, it's those ascended masters, those divine feminine ascended masters that represent the divine mother, that aspect of God. I'm just going to use that word God, but please, if that word does not resonate, I totally understand. For years, I couldn't even use that word because of my early trauma with organized religion. Now I've come full circle, and it's not my favorite word, but I can use it. But please replace it with whatever: spirit, universe, love. But there is a divine mother aspect of God, right? That divine mother. And there's all these divine beings that are like, that represent the divine mother. Mother Mary is one of those. Now, Mother Mary, I know she's very much associated with the Catholic religion, but I speak of her just like all the ascended masters beyond a religious context, removing all of the limitations that can have. And so this ascended master, Mother Mary, right? We know from what we know of her human life, right, that she went through a lot of initiations, right? Initiations are experiences that we go through in our human life that break us open, right? That like have the potential to to reveal more of our compassion, our wisdom, more of who we really are. And the reason I say potential is that we sometimes those experiences end up closing us up, creating bitterness, resentment, or protectiveness, like overprotectiveness. And sometimes that's just part of the process. So please do not shame yourself if you're in the middle of an initiation, or if you look back and you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, I went through something really challenging and I absolutely closed down. I absolutely had moments where I felt resentful, or like things were unfair, or like I didn't want to trust anybody again. That's normal. What makes it what brings us into the realm of the spiritual journey is when we have all of those very normal human feelings and we decide at some point that we want to keep our heart open. Yes, that it was painful. Yes, that it hurt a lot. Yes, that we're scared, but we want to stay open. And so when we think about ascended masters like Mother Mary and ascended master Jesus, all of the ascended masters that they weren't ascended masters in that point, but they were masters, right? They were practicing mastery. Like they had experiences that were so challenging, and yet they continued to choose how to love themselves, how to love others. Like they continued to choose that despite of, and sometimes because of the great pain that they were experiencing, that they chose to experience. So when we go back to thank you. When we go back to the initial topic, right? Today is episode 108, Help for the Helpers. What I want you to understand is that if you're one of those helpers, right? If you've always had this prayer, this longing of just like helping humanity, right? Helping the world, which can include absolutely helping the animals of the world. So I know sometimes people are like, well, I've always had a prayer just to help the animals. And that, of course, you're part of the helpers of humanity. But whatever it is, whatever your career title is, but if you chose that mission, like I remember as a little girl, and I grew up in a Catholic household, the daughter of Mexican immigrants in Chicago. Now I'm in Mexico. We relocated last year, but I was born and grew up in Chicago in the United States. And I remember since very little just imagining I was going to travel the world and I was going to help so many people. And for me, it was always about helping the children. Like I just had these fantasies about it. Like I didn't even question where they came from. I thought everybody had this. And then I realized, oh, no, not everybody has this. Like that was a calling that was placed in my heart. And so if you are one of those, whatever it looked like for you, then part of what we need to understand is that we also chose to experience several things that would feel challenging. And sometimes you might look around at your circle of friends or your peers and think, why do I experience more challenges? Like, what's wrong with me? Is there something wrong with me? Am I just unlucky? Am I just slow? Have I just not learned my lesson? And the truth is that when we choose to come into this world as helpers, and I want to be very mindful about how I say this because it could be misunderstood. But when we choose, then we also choose the curriculum, right? I shared in a previous episode about the divine curriculum. We choose the curriculum of our lives that are going to shape us, mold us to be the helpers that we're here to be. And it's not a punishment. It's not God doing this to us. It's us. It's we signed up and we're like, okay, I'm going to experience this and this and this, or whatever it was, because this is going to really mold me. This is going to prepare me to be of the greatest service and leadership. And like I said, in a lot of episodes, I've talked about the different ways, right, to remember that and to stop shaming ourselves for that. Like I remember for so many years, I'm a very sensitive person because that's part of my gift, right? Like I came to help a lot of people. So part of what my makeup is to be incredibly sensitive, because that includes my intuitive sensitivity, my empathic sensitivity. But for a long time, that felt like a curse. And that felt like, what is wrong with me? Why do I punish myself so much for that? So I've shared a lot of teachings on that. Today, we're going back to these ascended masters, these divine beings that are here to help us. They understand that we are the helpers of the world. This isn't coming from an egotistical place. This is actually very humbling. And that what's important, and I wrote a blog about this today on my newsletter, to know is that these ascended masters can't take away our lessons for us, nor would they want to. So it's just, if you're a mother, if you're a parent, for example, and I know, and I'm a mom, I mean, my kids are all young adults now, but I have five children. So I know when they're little and they're going through not even just when they're little, even now as a young adults, and they're going through their challenges. As a mother, of course, we have that desire of like, oh, I don't want them to be in pain. I don't want them to suffer. I wish I had a magic pill and I could give it to them so they would never suffer. But that's really not true, right? It's like, we know also that our kids, not that they need to suffer, but that there are experiences that their soul chose to experience. And we can't take away those lessons from them. That would actually hurt them. And so it's the same thing with these masters like Mother Mary. When I come to Mother Mary, I know that there are lessons that I am in the middle of right now or have been in the past that she's not meant to take away from me. Now I could ask, there's nothing wrong with asking. I mean, we can be in such a place of pain and be like, and I'm in the middle of a really challenging initiation. And as it's been unfolding, there were many times that I was like, please, Divine Mother, I connect a lot with Mother Mary, but also Kuan Yin, Jesus, all of you. If there is a way for me to avoid this experience, please take it from me. Like I was asking, but I also knew very clearly that if it was something my soul chose, that they couldn't take it from me. And so the way that these masters help us is to remove the unnecessary pain and heaviness that can block us from accessing our soul. Because this is the thing that's really important to remember. No matter what challenge you're experiencing, and I can say this with so much conviction because I've experienced so many challenges and I've helped my clients who have gone through so many challenges. And I know that what got them through it wasn't their human brain, wasn't like thinking positively. I mean, there's a space, there's a role that our intellect plays. Thinking positively, of course, is very powerful. I'm not saying that's something that's not important, but that's not what gets us through these times. What gets us through these times not only gets us through them, but actually increases our capacity to love, to heal, to stand in the darkest of places and be the light, to stand in the middle of polarity and division and be the unifying force, even if you don't say a word, but maybe you do say a word because that's part of your mission is to use your words for healing. The way we increase our capacity through these challenging experiences is first and foremost, always to remember that our soul is bigger than any of them, bigger than any of the challenge, that our soul is infinite because it is constantly receiving from source, from God. So whatever the challenge, whatever the pain, whatever the grief, whatever the sorrow, whatever the worry, whatever the doubt, our soul is bigger than that. But when we're in the middle of a challenging experience, we forget. That's the why this is so courageous to decide to be human. That's why souls incarnate into the earth plane because they're like, whoa, that is like massive training down there on the earth. There's so much polarity. There's so much, you go in there and suddenly you have an ego structure that believes that all the answers are outside of us, that some people are better than us, some people are worse than us. You know, our ego structure is programmed a certain way. So when we decide to come into this life, and then we have amnesia, right? So many of us, we come into this earth life and we forget that we are this divine beings. And so the mastery that this human life offers us, and especially, you know, as you look around at circumstances in the world, we can see, right? There's a lot of polarity, there's a lot of division, there's wars, there's hunger, there's all of the things. And, you know, just like Ascended Master Jesus said, we are trained to be in the world, but not of it. What does that mean? Is that we're very sober, and I'm not talking about alcohol, drugs, like that type of sobriety, although obviously that has a place in this. I'm talking like mental, emotion, sobriety, clarity. We're very clear that I am a soul having a human experience. And so, yes, I have to honor my human emotions, right? I've had to let myself grieve and cry and be upset and all of the things. But then through my practices, I keep coming back to, but I have a soul, or more like my soul told me years ago, my soul has me. And I have to keep coming back to be fed by my soul, to increase my capacity so more of my soul's light can flow through. And so back to the Ascended Masters, one of the specific ways that they help us that I want to talk about today is that sometimes when you've gone through a lot of challenges in the past or maybe now, even if you have that longing and that prayer and you're like, yes, I want to be of service. Yes, you know, divine, continue to use me as an instrument. Yes, but we still, like, no matter how much we try, we're feeling this heaviness. We're feeling perhaps this grief that we can't shake off, or we're feeling this self-doubt that we're like, no matter what I do, this self-doubt is like plaguing me, right? Or, you know, other insecurities, right? Or that, what is that called, that phrase that, oh my gosh, it's escaping me. But when we're just feeling like the imposter syndrome, right? Like, I'm not really, who am I to actually help all these people? I really, I can't help. I want to help all these people, but I really don't have enough to offer. I need to get more training. All of the things that come up that are so normal. And sometimes we need, in fact, many times we need divine intervention. We need these divine beings that no longer have an ego structure, that no longer have a physical body, but understand what it's like to be a human. And when we're in their frequency, when we're in their energy, it's like they're a crystal bowl. If you've ever gone to a crystal bowl class, like when they play the crystal bowl, right? And I used to have one, but in my move here, I sold it. So the frequency is so high, right? Or a tuning fork that what's around it starts to attune to it. So when we come to someone or an ascended master like Mother Mary, who's representing the Divine Mother, and we show up very clear that we want to continue with our purpose, with our mission, with our calling, even if you don't know the exact details. So if you're like, well, I don't know what my exact details are, that doesn't, trust me, that is not a block. The block is thinking that it's a block. I've helped so many clients who are like, I'm not really sure what it is. That's okay, because sometimes your soul doesn't want you to know what it is. Like when I left, I used to be a 7th grade teacher back in Chicago. That's about 13-year-olds. And when I left that job, I didn't know what it was next. I knew I was supposed to leave. I knew it was gonna involve healing and spirituality, but I didn't know the details, and it tortured me. I was like, what is it? Tell me, please. What is it gonna be? I felt like I was going crazy. I felt so much doubt. But every time I asked, my soul was like, I knew my soul just kept saying, just wait, just take every little step in front of you and it will be revealed. Now, 15 years later, I can look back and realize, oh my gosh, my soul was so wise. Can you imagine if my soul at that point, when I first left teaching back in 2009, I mean, I was very spiritual and all of the things already, but I mean, I'm in a way different place now. If my soul had showed me like me, I don't know, leading Reiki trainings or doing past life healing, like I would have freaked out. I would have been like, what? I can't do this. Right. So sometimes our soul just doesn't show us. I know that's kind of a tangent teaching, but I just wanted to add that in case that resonates with anyone or anyone needed to hear that. But going back to Mother Mary, when we show up to her as this ascended master, she represents the Divine Mother. And think about the Divine Mother. If we think about a human mother who's healthy, right? Who, meaning healthy, like she's able to love her child, right? Because we know there's a lot of wounded mothers. The Divine Mother can look at you and sees all of your potential. Like Mother Mary looks at you and she sees just how amazing and beautiful and wise and creative and all of these things that you are. And she sees the lessons, the challenges that you so courageously signed up to experience. And she remembers how challenging that is because she went through that when she was a human woman, when she experienced that lifetime. She probably experienced other lifetimes we don't even know about, but the one that we know of. And so Mother Mary, first of all, is such a great comfort. But today, the specific aspect of her medicine that's important to know is that she can transform, alchemize whatever is ugly within us. Not ugly because we're bad or impure, but because of the experiences that we had. Whatever lies we tell ourselves, whatever is in the way of us accessing our soul's infinite capacity. She is able to help us transform that. And I've shared this in several different things, but like years ago, I'm talking like 20 years ago, when I was going through a very challenging experience, one of the many. And I remember it seemed like an impossible thing, like an unsolvable situation. Like no matter what the outcome, so many people were going to be hurt. And it was just legally, emotionally, in all ways, it just was a mess, and more than a mess. Like I would look at it and just get so overwhelmed. And I remember, praying and meditating at night, and just, yeah, it just looked, and even the professionals that were involved were like, this is like, we've never seen something like this. This is just really um challenging. And one of those nights when I was there, and Mother Mary was a being I was connected with, and I looked at all that and I was like, everything looks so ugly. And I was like, please turn this into something beautiful. It was just like a prayer that came from my soul. And I realized that it wasn't just like heal this, make it better. It was like, I wasn't just asking make it better. I was like saying, make it beautiful. I mean, that's a big ask. Think about anything, if there's anything in your life like that, or maybe there has been, or something in the world that you just look at and you're like, oh my gosh. Maybe what you're thinking is like, at best, at least if there's not this, but this big ask of like, no, turn that into something beautiful. And that prayer has been such an anchor for me. And it wasn't like the next day I woke up and everything was amazing, but it, like, now looking back, I know that it was even in the uttering of that prayer, the transformation started. And the first transformation was me, right? It was me being able to look at it through different eyes, me being able to look at myself through different eyes, to have more compassion for myself. That's always been the biggest challenge. And then naturally compassion overflowed for the other parties involved. And little by little things started to align. And yes, now looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, it did turn into something beautiful. So much beauty came out of that. I don't mean like we all hugged and became best friends. I mean, there's definitely separations that had to happen. But the outcome, the overall outcome, what happened was, there were so many miracles I could have never envisioned. And so I share this with you so that you can, I offer that prayer, that mantra, that affirmation, that command, whatever you, divine decree, whatever you want to call it, to invite you to use it, right? And maybe it's not Mother Mary. Maybe you use that with your soul. You use that with your angels. I just find Mother Mary is such, like, that's one of her medicines. And she's continued to guide me as I help the helpers, because I feel like Mother Mary, one of her groups that she really holds so closely to her heart is all of us who are so called to be a light for others, because she was a light for so many. And she understands the responsibility that we have to tend to our own soul, our own heart, so that we can continue to be that lighthouse for others. And so that aspect of her, of transmutation, of saying, of having that bold prayer, please, this thing that just seems unsolvable, or this thing that just feels like it's just pain, it's just, turn it into something beautiful, right? And so I want to invite you tomorrow. I'm having a special Mother Mary class. It's $33. It includes the replay, and it's going to be all about that, right? We're going to come into ceremony with her and any other divine beings that you're connected with, to really bring forward any part of us. And this is what's interesting. For some of you, you might be like, yep, I know what it is. I know the thing that feels so heavy, and I just want to hand it over so that it can be transmuted, it can be transformed. And for others of you, you might be like, I don't really know what that would be. But it's any place where there's a block. And sometimes our biggest blocks we're blind to. Like, we might not realize, like, oh, I still really berate myself. Or I compare myself a lot to others. Or I'm worried that I'm going to run out of energy, so I don't want to help more people because I think I'm going to just get overworked and overwhelmed and burned out. So then I'm scared. Like, whatever it is, like, that we can bring it forward. Now, of course, you can do this on your own. You don't need to attend the class to do this, but there's something so powerful, as many spiritual masters have said, right? Wherever wherever two or more are gathered, there I am, right? The I am presence. So there's something really powerful that happens when we gather together in community, in a circle, to receive these blessings. So it'll include a little bit of teaching, energy activations, meditations. I'll pull an oracle card for everyone and you will get the replay. I'll put the link in the comments. But wherever you are with this, let's do just a little, very short kind of inner journey. Just going to tap in a little bit. And actually, I forgot to share this card I pulled before we started. I don't know if I'm going to say her name correctly. Ariadne, Mistress of the Labyrinth. This is from the Divine Feminine Oracle. And it says, my soul knows the way, and the only way out is through. How beautiful that is. And so, maybe for you, the way the Divine Mother, Mother Mary, can help you is, I'm so deep in that right now. It's like, maybe turn this into something beautiful, is turn this inner journey I'm in, even though it's painful, even though it's hard, show me the beauty that's here. Let me lean into that. So let's take a few cleansing breaths and bring the palms of your hands over your heart center as I'm doing. Feel the earth under your feet. And at your beautiful heart, invite your soul. Just a simple sentence like, beautiful soul, I'm open to receive you. And we welcome Mother Mary, that divine feminine master that she is. And just envision that in front of you, there she stands, or any other aspect of the Divine Mother, this beautiful divine feminine master that has nothing but love for you. And ask Mother Mary, beautiful Mother Mary, what heaviness am I still holding on to? What lie? Most of the time it's a lie about yourself. Am I still holding on to? What belief am I still holding on to that is blocking my access to my own soul? That is creating ugliness for me? Show me what that is. And then just receive that answer, whether it comes as a word, as a sentence, as an image, as a feeling. Trust that you will get the answer at the right time, even if not now. But in this moment, let's ask that. What is it? Show me. And imagine that you're holding that in your hands, in the palms of your hands. Maybe you just see it as this black, heavy rock. Or I've been envisioning mine like this black cannonball, right? Or whatever it is, and you're holding it. And you realize that you can hand it over. That we can say that prayer together, like this thing that looks unsolvable, that looks so confounding, that we can have that beautiful, powerful prayer of turn this into something beautiful. And so as you let that go for this moment, bring the palms of your hands together. Feel Mother Mary, feel your soul sending you a blessing. As we bow to each other and our own heart, and we end with a namaste, namaste. Namaste, everyone. And what I was really aware as we were doing that, and again, we'll do more deeply this tomorrow, it's an hour class, is that we have to be, it sounds weird, but we actually have to open to receiving the beauty. So it's not just asking, turn this into something beautiful. And I'm going to kind of break that sentence down because there's a lot of like gems even in it. I didn't realize it when I first said it, but I was like, oh, but it's also then we have to prepare ourselves to receive it. There is a receptivity that's required for us to receive it. So I would love to, first of all, thank you for being here. I'll be here next week as well. Share it with your friends if there's anyone that you feel would benefit from this. If you want to sign up for my newsletter, I'll put the link on there. That's the best way to stay on top of all of the classes, the free master classes I offer, all of that. And also remember that I offer a free breakthrough consultation. And that's an opportunity for me to ask you some really powerful guiding questions. Please know it's a compassionate space. You don't have to prepare anything, but I'm going to help you identify what actually is holding you back. What is blocking you from helping more people and from doing it in a way that doesn't overwhelm or deplete you, but actually cultivates a life you love. And then I'll share a simple plan, like a simple solution for you, a simple plan that you can implement. And then if I feel I can help you further, I will share the details of my 1-year coaching program. Okay. I'll put the link for that too. And I'll put the link for tomorrow's Mother Mary class. I actually had planned this back in October, and it just for various reasons, I had to postpone it. So I'm really excited that it's coming tomorrow. And let me pull an oracle card for the group here, and then we will be done. Okay, so this is from, and feel free to share in the chat or in the comments. I know a lot of you see this as replays. Anything that came up during the meditation or as you were thinking about this this powerful transformation of like, oh, of like offering whatever feels heavy, whatever feels ugly, whatever feels untrue, offering it to the Divine Mother so that it could be turned into something beautiful. Okay, this is a Wild Woman Rising deck, and I'm going to pull this card for everyone here, and then we shall be done. Thank you, everyone who's here. Sunshine and Beauty, Foraging Little Miss, Althea Barbosa, love that. Sophia, yes. Okay. Well, 2 came up, so I'm going to turn them over both. Number 18, this beautiful divine feminine woman and her fox here. Use your cunning. All right. That cleverness that you are, right? Connect with that, whatever that is. And there's something about, darkness, confusion, heaviness can really overpower us, can really have us spinning. It's almost like we're like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to do. And so the fox medicine really brings that like, wait, I'm more clever. I'm smarter than this darkness. Not that you're going to use your intellect, but I mean, there's a place for the intellect, but it's like, ask your soul, like, show me the way. I just kind of see like these like lasers that are trying to stop you. And you're just like, doop, 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 just kind of like gliding over them. And then I love this beautiful card. Oh, she's got a beetle and a lotus. Rise again. All right, my dear. Sophia, you're right. The fox must be one of your spirit animals. All right, fox and beetle, rise again. And that's what we do, everyone. That's the path that we're on. We just keep rising and rising. And yes, part of the rising involves going really deep within sometimes, but then we do that to rise up again. So thank you, everyone, for all of your courage. Keep helping, keep loving, keep shining. And I can't wait to connect with you again. Bye, everyone.